These are hydraulic power units. They actually provide the power source for everything we have going on. Oh yeah, they're 100 horsepower motors. I think they're 100 horsepower hydraulic pumps inside.
All right, yeah, let's go on in.
Come on down, guys.
Take a look, pumps.
That's the stuff that's right there.
Get to see where all the magic happens under here. Stuff for you?
Oh yeah, this is. Yeah. See, that's why I'm working with my crew to build rides. That's my goal.
Cool. Come on in.
So you kind of circle around so you can make sure everybody's getting in here.
So cool.
It really is.
Hey.
Oh, shoot, sorry, I'm all misty-eyed and stuff.
You been out here before?
So you said 2,000 PSI?
And the operating pressures are between 1,100 and 2,000 psi. All comes from our HPU units in the other room. What I was talking about is actuators. This is a 6 actuator unit. This is what we call an actuator. It's an internal hydraulic piston that extends and retracts. And this is all based on how we want the unit to fly. So if we want the front to go up, these 2 units will extend and it will rotate up and go backwards. These are all Moog actuators. Moog builds a lot of the flight simulation systems. Actually, I've had a few NASA guys up here checking out our systems. They have a couple very similar to these down at NASA, and I heard there's one down at Virginia Beach for the Navy. One of the other things that's kind of unique, this is what we call the mini base. This is actually one of the first steps we used to program this ride here. We actually got a mini base over here, and you can see it's already set up. We've actually been working on it. And we will actually maneuver that mini base based on the images that we're seeing on the screen. And we record the locations of the actuators and then translate that right into the actuators of the large system. So we'll try it on here manually to get a rough ride profile. Then we'll move it over to the main system and we'll actually ride it on the main system to see how it feels. A lot of times we'll try a maneuver and then we won't like it, so we'll have to come back and try a different maneuver. After we get it to where the ride profiles are pretty close, we'll then go in software and change it and smooth them and get them to where we want. If we want to add a little bump here and there, we will do that. As you get onto the ride, this ride of course seats 59 people. They all load in from one side and exit out the other. We call that flush loading in our world. After everybody's loaded, seated, and buckled, the ride control system verifies that everybody's seated, all buckles are in place, everything's ready to go, verifies all the systems are good. It will then launch with operator actuation. These 2 ramps on each side actually fold up and into the building to clear the way for the motion for the ride system. You'll see a yellow line around the outside here. That is actually where the motion base could actually venture. So you can see the amount of space that this motion base can actually move. We used to have these cutouts right here. Where back in the day when we had Questor, we had a front nose on here with the onboard image. This piece, that system used to fit in this hole. So since we've taken off the front screen, we don't need it, so we went ahead and filled it in. So you just imagine that the entire motion of this motion base, how dynamic it can actually be. We run, like I said, the operating pressure between 1,100 and 2,000. We actually have nitrogen charged bags over here that help support and keep the hydraulic pressures up, and also provide us a reserve in case we ever lose power. We actually have power to the unit, hydraulic power. So, any questions? This is exciting stuff for me. I really like all this stuff. It's pretty neat. But as you can see, it's very sophisticated system. Well, you know, we find that the question is, are we going to utilize some of the fans that you see up here? The fans we find, when you're moving motion, it doesn't take a lot of wind force on your face. Your face is very tactile on feeling things. So just a little bit of breeze will give you that sensation. Like we said, we're going to create a world where you look and where you feel. And part of feeling is if you're moving through the air, you're going to feel air. We're going to put air on your face. And that's why the fans do it, and they do it a very effective job. As simple as that sounds, it works really well. So yeah, they'll be part of our show. Questions?
Yeah, we can do more questions upstairs. If you
Everybody
guys
excited
wanna
about
walk
it?
around, get some pictures, and then we'll start moving back up.
Our company's very excited about it. In fact, our John Riley, our CEO, was just up here last week and toured just like you folks have. He had a little more pointed questions than you do, but he was very excited. He considered this one of the top openings that we're going to have at SeaWorld Parks. So we're excited, and so is our company. So we're looking forward to the day we open. Anything else?
All right. After you get your photos and see this, we'll head back upstairs, and then we'll do more questions upstairs if you've got those.
All right.
Yeah, we actually brought it
So who's got some, anybody have any questions for me right off the bat here? Everybody excited about it?
Oh yeah.
Isn't it great? Yeah, we're really excited about it too. Yes, sir.
What's been upgraded to the actual system, the motion simulator?
Motion simulator is actually pretty much unchanged. We felt very confident that the simulator can pretty much do everything we want it to do already. It has all kinds of range of motion, and we really felt that there was really the weak link of the entire system has and used to be the visual side of it. And we think with the virtual reality side of it, now that weak link is gone, and now we've got the visual system that puts people in a place, virtual reality basically, that we can't do anywhere else, and we got the physical system that will confirm that you're really there.
But there were modifications like the goggles and the TPUs and all that stuff.
Okay.
So there were a lot of things were added, but from a performance side.
For the VR side, obviously, but from the actual hardware side for the motion base, it's pretty much unchanged.
Could you tell us about the software that you used
Which software is that?
for the virtual reality? For
Actually for the virtual reality, the software was created through.
Totally custom. It's bespoke software that's playing this concept. So it's designed to receive commands and cues from the show control system that's in place to cue the ride up, but it's 100% a bespoke system that plays back the content.
And the software is also is actually just developed for this ride, just because of the way the little nooks are tasked, that be able to create those 90 frames per second at the resolution that we're looking for. That there all kinds of new software had to be written, and to be able to perform like we wanted it to.
So the headset itself, though, they're HTC Vives that have been gutted and put with new electronics inside. Is that what I'm understanding?
Not so much. We got the commercial grade HTC Vive, and we've got new adapters because of our attachment point. So really, they're pretty much with all the same accelerometers and everything. All the electronics we thought that worked really well, and there was not a way we could really improve on those.
Those are currently the highest performing headsets on the market, commercial market right now. So that is why we chose that. I mean, there are some other headsets that you may hear about, but we decided to go with kind of the best quality, best field of view, and best resolution.
Needless to say, there was lots of testing over the past year. We've had different headsets. We've had all kinds of different emerald masks.
Yeah.
We've ambushed a lot of the marketing people. We'll walk in and throw one on their desk and have them try it on, and they're looking at us like we're crazy. But we've had employees, kids here, kind of making sure that we've got all the different head sizes covered. We found that, where's Natalie at? There she is. Where's Natalie? We found her as one of the smallest heads. She was a unique head for us, so.
Thank you. I don't know if that's
But yeah, we've had to do a lot of work to try to cover our bases, and I think somebody mentioned what happens when the public gets here, and that's always, the wild card for us, and we'll find out. We think we've got a lot of it done. We'll just have to roll with it after we open.
You said spring 2018. Do you have
Spring
a
2018.
target date in spring?
We're still working on a few things. You saw them firing up the software inside. We don't want to give a date until we have it 100% running. Right now, we're still working through startup and commissioning, so we'll release a date as soon as one's available.
Now, these simulators obviously have been used for quite a while, so as far as not quality is probably not the word, downtime or anything like that, they perform pretty well, right?
These simulators perform very well. They're one of our highest. They're on par with any ride we have in the park, so we expect our uptime to be very similar to what it used to be.
Do you have any models for any other action VR rides that are out there that you kind of looked at in terms of when you guys were putting this together?
Well, of course, we went and saw what a few of the folks are doing out there, and we weren't happy with a lot of it. What we saw was the quality of the image. Again, a lot of people in the industry are driving everything with cell phones, the VR gear, and we just felt that we didn't want to put that kind of quality on our ride, so we really pushed for having a much higher quality image, which required us to have a separate driving computer. Special software had to be written to be able to drive it at the frame rate we wanted it to. So I think we're really creating kind of a new virtual reality system here for the theme park worlds.
I don't think there's anything that's been done to this scale before. You're hearing about this is starting to trickle into some theme parks, but for the most part, it's been still in very fledgling stages. This is the first really mass product VR that they've done in the marketplace that we're aware of.
Can you talk about, I'm sorry, I'm a little late to you, what makes this so different than the virtual reality we're used to hearing, about the 90s when it first kind of came out?
Certainly the resolution, the fidelity, the optics, all of that has really been refined. You see there's a huge amount of buzz around virtual reality right now, and different applications. This is just one new application that we think is going to be really successful because you're combining the motion of the ride, the audio system, the fans, and all these different elements, and then creating an immersive experience from the moment you walk in to the moment you leave. That's going to really amplify just the virtual reality component.
Is there something specifically though when you put the headset on that makes it feel so different than what we used to?
It actually doesn't feel different at all. It feels very natural and very seamless with what you would expect to see. The difference is that you can really push what you see in a virtual world. We didn't want to do something that you would normally see. We wanted to do something that would be way far and beyond what we could experience in a traditional sense.
And don't forget too, many of our guests walking through the park, I think this group is probably a little of an anomaly with the amount of people that experience it. But I believe it's the numbers like 6% are actually have experienced the virtual reality world. So for a lot of folks, this will be the very first time they'll ever do it. And I know when we first had our headsets in, and of course we were playing with them, and we'd bring people in, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, I never really thought any of this was possible. And to layer it on with a storyline, with a flight simulator, with wind effects, we think we're going to create an experience that really is unique to anybody that they've ever seen before.
Will you be adding additional theming in Ireland to support the ride?
We always look at any new attraction we have. We always come out and look in the park and kind of look around. I believe we got a whole new menu here for our Grogan's Grill. We got a new roof over on Emerald Isle. I don't know if anybody's seen it, so like brown. The roofs are all painted great looking blue. We've cut back, we changed a lot of things in here that a lot of our fans will notice right away.